have been involved in leadership for a long time. I got my Eagle Scout at age 13. I was teaching National Youth Leadership Training at age 14. I was an instructor up until I was 19. And then in the context of UNH, as soon as I got here, I ran for first-year senator.
In high school, I was drum major of my high school band my senior year. I was in National Honor Society, and I was just kind of really involved with the community there. I wasn't really part of student government because in high school it really was a popularity contest.
Yeah.
When I came to UNH, I was a Hubbard Hall senator, so I represented Hubbard Hall on Student Senate, and that's where I met Brian. And then just kind of going through UNH, it kind of became evident, like, there are so many opportunities here, so I really tried to take the most of the opportunities that were presented to me. So emerging leaders was kind of pushed upon me, and that was really step up from square one. From there, I went to leadership camp. I applied to be an RA. I'm an RA in Sawyer right now.
In terms of the platform, we have three overarching platform aspects. The first one is fighting tuition increases and cost increases. The second overarching thing is really fostering an inclusive community. Will and I, even though we are both white males, we really do try to understand the plight of women on campus. The issues of in the SRRR, like a rapist can return after 1 year. Those type of things that we just find very problematic. I was a graduate at MLK Summit. We really try to understand diversity issues and really try to understand everyone's view. We try to represent every group, regardless of how you identify yourself. And that also goes for the student groups. We really want to include Greeks. We really want to include commuters, veterans, non-trad students. We really want to be as inclusive as possible. We also want to make this campus safe, not only violence-wise, but personal violence-wise. We have a suicide attempt every weekend, at least one. And I find that problematic, especially since last year, my best friend, 14 years, tried to take his own life. So it's a very salient issue to me. And the third one is keeping for a responsive and accountable administration and legislature. Will and I have kind of set the precedent. Last year, Student Senate had gone to this very, on-campus approach only, and that's great. But we really expanded that last year, setting a precedent of we're going to talk to Durham because this is a college town. You really need to talk to them to figure out how to fix a lot of issues, and also we're going to talk to the state legislature. That we've never had that broad of a reach before. We've never really pushed it that far, and so Will and I are pushing it to new limits because we want to keep not only the administration accountable and not be afraid to challenge them, but also keep the state legislature, the promises they've made, make sure they keep them. We're completely lacking in commuter, non-resident senators, and so does that really give a accurate cross-section of the student body? That's a huge problem that I see, and one of the first things I'm going to do, and Will and I are going to do, if elected, is when we get back, we are going to spend as much time as possible recruiting until all those slots are mostly filled. We need a full student senate, and the biggest thing that you might not think of as novel, but the biggest thing to really retain members is making sure you are actually working on stuff like legislation. If you have resolutions there all the time, and this is stuff that people really care about, they're going to attend. Current candidates, once again, over 2,000 hours more experience than all of them combined. The legal expertise, I'm finishing up training as a student legal advisor at the OCM. We're both U-Lead instructors. All the financial expertise that we've gotten, all the student leadership experience that we've gotten, the passion, honestly, with all due respect to, once again, all the preceding presidents and the current candidates, I honestly believe, and everyone who's ever seen us honestly believes, that we are the most passionate student government activists and advocates that the university has ever come across, and I really don't mean that in a cocky manner. I sleep an average of 4 or 5 hours a night. I really put in the hours to this. I've taken on so much extra work. We've given up late nights, we've given up weekends, we've given up pretty much everything except academics, and even in some cases, once again, I skipped classes to go to Concord, that type of thing. We are very passionate about going towards this university, and we've spent the time to make sure we had the expertise and connections and respect to really implement change on this campus. And it's like, we may not be the most eloquent of the candidates, we may not be the most charming, but if you want something to get done on this campus, we are the absolute best bet.
I think in terms of like the other candidates, we're not starting from square one. We're starting pretty far down along the path, and we need, if we like really want to affect positive change, we need the weight of the position behind those changes that we want to make. In terms of previous student body presidents and vice presidents, I think we have a much stronger knowledge base of kind of what goes on and what goes on in the state and how to do things than previous student body presidents and vice presidents.
And no one's ever been as connected to the state legislature and the town as we are. Honestly, they used to stay exclusively, on campus, and even more exclusively among like the elite, like student senate only. We've expanded not only to the student body, but we've expanded to Durham, we've expanded to state legislature. A few of the times we've actually expanded to the national. One of my resolutions was talking about amending the tax code to reduce like immense risk based off student debt in the Internal Revenue Code. So stuff like that. Like, we are not afraid to expand and really go for the big players on this, and we have connections that no other student body president preceding us has ever even strived for.